Hi everybody! Today we're going to be doing a step-by-step soft pastel tutorial using this very inexpensive cheap set of Mungyo pastels. It's 64 colors. I think I got them for $10 on Amazon when I bought them, although I think the last time I checked they were 12, sometimes they're 8. It just depends, the price hops around a lot. I will link these down below, and then we are this time using a sheet of good paper. So this is Uart sanded paper 400 grit in the natural color, and I got mine on Blick Art Materials. I think it's $3.50 maybe a sheet for a 9x12 sheet like this. You could try to use a different paper, but I specifically wanted to use this to compare with these pastels on the Canson Mi Tienes or Mi Taunts, or however you say that we did last week. So this is going to be a comparison so you can see the difference in blending and stuff on the good paper, but still using the cheap pastels. The reference image right here will be linked down below, and let's get started. So before we even touch the pastels, the first thing actually I'm gonna use a graphite pencil for this. I would normally use a pastel pencil, but since this is a tutorial and I don't know if you have pastel pencils, we're just gonna do a graphite. Do it very lightly if you can. Okay, so we're gonna use our pencil to very lightly sketch out just some rough guidelines. So there's our horizon line, and the sun, the brightest part of the drawing, the sun is going to be right here, just off center. So we'll do the lower cloud line like this. This is just a really rough, we're going to block in the shapes and everything. This is just really, really rough. Okay, and there's a bumpy one back over in here, way down low. Okay, all right, now let's open up our pastels. And you're also going to want to have a paper towel for wiping your fingers with, and maybe an extra one for blending if you don't want to use your fingers. And here we have all of our pastels. And it would be good to have just a separate piece of paper to test the colors on. I'm going to start by blocking in the grass with this pretty dark blue. It's the darkest blue in this set. I've got this paper taped down with some acid-free artist masking tape. You won't have any problem peeling the tape off this paper with this. So I'm just blending this out with my finger a little bit. You don't have to use your finger. You can use something else if you want. You can also wear gloves if you want with this. And then I'm going to go over it with a light layer of purple, just to make it a little more interesting. I would normally use a dark purple for right here, but there isn't a super dark purple in this set, so we're going to blend our own colors here. Okay, I'm going to blend this in as well. All right. Wiping my fingers off. now I'm gonna test some colors over here for the sky. That's pretty light. You know what, I think I might block in the sky with some purple. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is block in the sky with some light purple. This is sort of the underpainting. I'm not doing a full-on underpainting, but this is sort of an underpainting. I was just trying to keep things kind of basic for beginners today, so we're doing a basic. Okay, and now I think I'm gonna go over it with this light blue. Oh, my light blue is a little dirty. If you don't want your colors rubbing off on each other, just wipe your pastel off a little bit. Okay, now we've got some pretty dark darks in this cloud here. I'm gonna start with the blue, the dark blue again. Here's what we'll do. So we use the light blue, the purple, and this dark blue so far. Oh, but you can't see that, can you? Let's put them off to the side here. There. Okay. So I'm going to block in some of these darkest we used this purple too, didn't we? I think we did. Okay, now before I get any further, I'm going to blend out the sky a little bit. I will cover underpainting both with pastels and with other materials in another video. This is just a beginner video that I thought would be fun to do. Okay, now our lightest light is going to be, I don't think this is light enough, the sun. So for now we will put a little white in there, and that's our lightest light. There's going to be some pretty light up in here and right in here, over in here. Okay. Now, let's see. How dark is this gray? It's pretty dark. Let's see, what about this one? Okay, now we're gonna go in with this gray. Staying away from that bottom edge of the cloud, because that's gonna have some bright yellow highlights there. And the same for the upper edge up here. There's gonna be some white. Okay, and now we're gonna go for this next lighter shade of gray. Test it over here first. It's not a whole lot lighter. What about this one? That's better. And we're just scumbling this in, it's called, where you add it in. We're going for a little bit of a loose impressionist feel. Or at least we're trying to. I've talked about it before, how I'm trying to get better with my looseness. Okay, now instead of scrubbing real hard on this, I'm going to sort of gently pat it all together. I don't want to lose all of the different color shades that we just did. I don't want to just roughly rub it all together. We're trying to just sort of gently soften it and fill in a little bit of the tooth of the paper. I don't know if you remember in the other video where I was showing the Mungyos with the Canson taunts and I couldn't get it to blend very well, and there was just a lot of loose powder sitting on top of my paper. I mean, here, I'll show you. Obviously you can see that it's blending much, much better than it was. And I'm going to lift this up here and tap it so you can see how very little powder there is compared to, so let's just move these out of the way for a second. And I'm going to tap this. You see that? That's all that came off. That's all that came off. That's what I was talking about before. It's just this little spot right here. That paper, it doesn't hold the pastel very well. Okay. So let's take our lighter gray over in here. All right. I'm just coming up and blending in some more lighter colors. I'm looking at my reference photo and trying to figure out where those lighter colors are. There probably will be a little bit of paper showing through on this. That's often why I like to do an underpainting, so you can pick your color and have a pretty color showing through. But again, this is just a beginner level video, and we will get into that in a different video. Instead of rubbing here now hard, I'm just sort of tapping to blend it in a little bit without losing the definition of what I just did too much. Okay, now I'm going to take this darker blue, and I'm going to come in and start darkening up these edges a little bit. And here I'm starting to sort of try to put in a little bit of where these rays are going to go, the rays of light that we see. I'm sort of twisting and turning this. Okay, so now I'm going to blend this in. And then we're going to go back to this lighter blue. Okay, and again we're going to blend this in. I'm going to rub a little harder than I did before down below, because I'm actually trying to blend this a little bit more than I was down there. This can be a little rough on the fingers. You're welcome to use a paper towel. Let's see how that works on this paper. Oh no, don't do that. I usually just use my fingers. Maybe put a glove on if you don't want it to be too intense on your hands. Okay, I'm going to take this really dark blue and I'm going to darken the edges a little bit. The corners especially. And now I'm going to rub that in. Put a little more in this corner. I'm going with the direction of the sun streaks that you see in the reference photo. Okay. Tap this off to the side. Okay. Now, I did have a light yellow. I feel like I put it somewhere else. Is this it? It's not as light as I would have liked. Alright, so now we're going to come in with this yellow. Down around in here. Okay, so this area here, I'm gonna put some white down first because this is lighter than what we have available in our colors. Probably should have done that over here too, but oh well. Okay, so where we put the white, we're gonna come back over and lightly glaze the yellow over it, just very lightly. And then we're gonna take our finger and just sort of gently brush it in together, really gently. Try to stay away from some of these cloud details you did if you can. So normally I would be working standing up on something like this. Or like having this standing up, not me, but this. It's better to let your extra pastel fall to the bottom of your easel or whatever you're using and then wipe it up with a soft cloth. It's hard to film like that. I might have to switch and move over there. We'll see how this goes, because now we're starting to get more of a layer on here. So now we are starting to get a little bit of dust. So here I'm just, again, scumbling along to make some of these smaller white clouds. And then we're going to tap those back. And then we're going to come along here. And I mentioned this in my last video, but so like here, so along here, I'm wishing I had left it a little bit lighter. Well, luckily we can fix that. So this is just a regular hog hair bristle. I'm pretty sure it's a synthetic hog hair bristle brush. And I'm just gonna very gently brush away the area where I would like it to be a little bit whiter. And then, again, if you were working with this upright, you could just let it fall to the bottom of your easel. The way I'm doing it is going to make for a messy cleanup. But you've essentially brushed away some of that dark color so you can go in and brighten it up a little bit. So if you ever do have an area where your highlights aren't quite as white as you'd like, you just come along and brush some of that off. Just like that. Be careful not to flick the powder up into your face. You don't want to breathe this. And if you can, an air cleaner is always something good to have. I'm kind of making a mess because I'm trying to film into it at the same time. These are what people call the silver linings. The silver, that's where that saying came from. Right now here, I'm just putting in a little bit more of those brighter streaks that you see. And then I'm gonna just, I'm doing a little bit of tapping and a little bit of squiggling my finger around. Sorry for the big heavy sweatshirt, it's really cold here again. I'm ready for spring, but it's not ready for us yet, I guess. All right, and then along in here, now here I'm using the white almost more to blend. Okay, now I'm going to come in with this light blue, and it's kind of dirty on the outside, so I'm going to wipe that off a little bit. And then the medium gray. This does get a little rough on the fingers. I mean, this is actually a Viva paper towel, which is good for oil painting, but not great for blending. So hang on, I'll grab something else. It's more of just a regular kitchen paper towel. And now this is more of a patting motion. If you rub, it'll still lift off the surface, but if you pat, that will blend it in a little bit nicer. See, I'm patting, not really rubbing, just patting gently. You can come along to these areas where the paper is showing through a little and just pat along those as well. That'll fill it in a little bit. Be careful not to go in over any details you don't want smudged though, because it will smudge them. Let's see, where else do I want to blend a little bit? Sorry if my voice sounds a little hoarse. My youngest son brought home a cold, and my husband got sick last night. And I'm not feeling so great today. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to fold the paper towel and get a fresh, clean corner now and come along and do some of these lighter areas. And right here, I don't know how it got dark. I don't want that dark, so I'm going to try to brush that off a little bit. This is better if you do this part outside, actually. I usually will take it outside to do that. If you want to brush some off, take it outside if you can. it's better not to breathe that in. Okay, let's see. So I feel like this guy needs to be a little bit darker, but not as dark as this. This is too light. All right, let's try it. So we've used, these are the 3 blues from the set that we've used so far. And now we're gonna use this one, which is kind of in between this and this. You can sort of turn it. The nice thing about these being squares, you can sort of turn it on its edge like that and just sort of tap in some of these fainter lines here. And then again to a clean corner and then just sort of tap it in. You can make small circular motions if you want to try to blend it in a little bit more if the tapping isn't doing enough for you. This does kind of leave a bit of a texture looking on the paper, but I kind of like it. If you don't like it, you can, packing peanuts, which sounds weird, but they make a really good blending tool. You can, of course, buy tools like the soft tools with the pan pastels. You can use those on here for blending, not just for adding pan pastels. Those are spelled S-O-F-F-T, I think. And, what else? Pool noodles. Some people like to cut up pool noodles or chunks of pool noodles to blend on sanded paper. I'm going to try that one this summer. I haven't tried that one yet. But when the pool noodles are in the store, I'm going to grab me some. I have my husband cut them up for me. All right, clean corner again. I'm going to actually use my finger. It does get a little rough and not great feeling on your finger after a while. I'm not going to lie. This sanded paper, because it is essentially, it is sandpaper. Nice sandpaper, archival sandpaper, but sandpaper all the same. So it can and does start to feel pretty rough on the fingers. There, though, that is looking much better, I think, with the blue. I'm going to come in and do a little bit over here. Okay, now we're going to come back in with the light blue, and mine got kind of dirty, so I'm going to wipe off one side. And I'm just sort of putting in some wispy looking things here to make it look a little more natural and a little less like in your face streaks. So I've never used any fixative with my pastels. I either frame them under glass or I put them in, I have a plastic binder portfolio thing that I put them in. I tap them off on the edge like you saw me do, and then I put them in there. But I would like to, I know I've heard that the fixative makes everything change color, so I'm expecting that there's going to be a color change. But I would like to try it all the same and run some tests myself. So I have ordered several fixatives, and they're coming, and we're going to have a video where we test these later at some point and see what we think. All right, now we're gonna get started on the grass, and I'm going to use, I think to start, this dark greeny color. There it goes. Now the thing with grass is you're going to just sort of twist and roll and just thick and thin. You don't want everything all curving and going in the same line and going in the same direction, and you don't want anything to be super sharp. So I'm just sort of randomly rocking this back and forth. I'm going to focus most on the outer edges because if you look at the reference, it's darker on the outer edges. Although there is some in the middle, so we will do a little, just not as much. I'm just twisting and rolling and making random marks. That's the key to grass looking realistic, random marks. The minute you try to start drawing in lines, it's not going to look like grass anymore. Okay, so we use that dark green. Now we'll go right down the line to the next one. You know what? I changed my mind. Let's find some of the warmer greens first. Okay, let's try testing this one. Yeah, I like this. So this is this color here. I'm trying to line the colors up here so you can see which ones I use. This was a little brighter than I was hoping for. It'll be good for the middle though. As we get closer to the bottom, that's closer to the viewer, start making some longer strokes. As you go farther back in the distance, the grass will flatten out to the viewer. All right, so there was that one. This is maybe a brownie green. Yep, let's throw some of that in there. Let's do some of those random marks first in the back here. Okay. Oh, let's see. What do we want to do now? Okay, now we're going to go in with this brighter green, I think. And just make some of these little marks. We're going to skip the middle with this. This is a cooler color here. You can do a few longer ones down at the bottom of the middle here. But the very center we're gonna skip. Okay, now we're gonna come in. Is this one too light? Let's see. It's getting pretty light. Okay, we're gonna do some little, it's not green enough. Let's try this other one. Ooh, too green. What about this one? Okay, so we're gonna do some little murky ones in here. And just a few on the sides, more in the middle. Okay, and now we're going to come in with this yellow one. Remember, we're still rocking and twisting it. There will be a few on the sides, but concentrate them more in the middle. Okay, now, is this one even lighter? Yep, okay. Now this one we're gonna just do a few with, and they're all gonna be in the middle. Maybe just a couple over in here. Okay, now I'm going to move these colors for a second so I can tap this off. Again, it's better to work standing up if you can. And now would also be a good time to sort of stand it up and take a step back and look at it from a distance as if it were hanging on a wall. Okay, so after I did that, I think that my darkest darks are not dark enough. So I'm gonna come in, do purple. I'm gonna do a little purple in these clouds, which is still probably not gonna be dark enough, but I'd like to have a little purple in here. Let's see, I'm also going to go in with, is this the darker gray? That's not dark enough. Let's go with the darkest gray too as well. Uh-oh, that's brown. What happened to my dark gray? I lost it. I did lose it. I don't know where I put it. All right, well, let's do the blue then. You can use the dark gray if you still have yours. Back over in here, it's really pretty dark. clouds get further away from you, they get flatter. So keep that in mind as you do. The ones down low are actually further away usually. Well, not usually, they are. Sure would be nice if I remembered where I put that dark gray. Alright, now I'm going to use my finger. And I'm just sort of patting this in gently. I don't want to lose all the dimension in the clouds. That one was probably too dark. Let's see if I can brush some of that away. Okay, now I'm going to lightly brush in. I'm going to put some lighter areas in there, I think. I'm definitely going to have to film these standing up. This isn't going to work in the long term. So what I'm doing now is anywhere that's in one of these light streaks, any of the clouds on that edge would probably have lighter, their highlights would be brighter. So I'm just going through here and looking for any brighter areas. And my lighter gray here. I'm kind of blending this blue here with the lighter gray. right. Oh, my reference picture got dark there. All right, so now down around this sun area, it's a little bit more yellow than I made it. I'm just gonna yellow this up a little bit. At this point, if you're gonna blend with your fingers, you may want to, if they look like mine, wash them, because it'll be hard to get a nice clean blend without rubbing some of this darker color stuff into here. My pinky's all right. I'm gonna use my pinky. It was still, must have still been a little bit green. So I'm gonna come back over this with the white and lighten that up a little bit just because the yellow isn't quite as light as I would have liked. And I'm gonna tap this off and stand up and look at it from a distance again. Okay, I'm going to blend in, is this the lighter one? These lower dark blue spots. That's too dark. Let's go with the medium gray. And the mail truck is here. The dog's gonna bark. Okay, I took that opportunity while the dog was barking to wash my hands a little bit here. And now we're getting there. We're almost done. I'm gonna put a little bit of this orange right behind the yellow. Here. Maybe this color would be better. No, I like the orange. Back to the orange. And then the yellow right around that. Yeah, that looks better. Maybe I'll add in a few dollops of this orange along here in a few places too. Peach, I guess, more. And where else would I like it? Maybe a little bit here. Maybe a little bit along in this one. Try not to rest your arm in your drawing like I'm doing. I'm just sort of gently scumbling along the side of it. I have it, you can see where it's turning blue there. It's just sort of going along the side. I'm just filling in the grasses here a little bit more with the darkest green that I had. And the brownie color again. And now, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not, so you might want to wait and see if you like it when I do it. I'm taking the peach and I'm gonna do some down here. And some more of these dots of the bright. And then a little more of this greeny color. Okay, now would be another good time to step back and see what you think. And I think just up in here maybe needs to be lightened up just a hair. It is pretty dark over here, but not quite as dark as I have it. This is the lighter gray that I'm using here. A little bit of white around this one. And I think that's done. Step back and look again, maybe just a little bit more. The lighter gray up in here. And now I am gonna stop working on it because I don't want to risk overworking it, and I like it just the way it is. So that's done. So that is our step-by-step tutorial on Uart sanded paper using only the Mungyo pastels, and I will line up the ones I used right here just so you can take another look at them. We didn't use that many colors. Out of the 60 set we used, I'll count them in a second here. Out of this 60 set, we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18 colors, one piece of paper, and a brush. You can't get started much cheaper than that. So there's our whole tutorial, step by step, how to draw a sunset grassy field with only the Mungyo pastels and a piece of Uart sanded paper. And as you can see, I think you can learn pretty well using these. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, drop them down below. If you'd like to see a tutorial on something specific, drop that down below as well. I'm always looking for inspiration and ideas for my next video. And if you like this and you'd like to see more content, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and the like. And until next time, happy creating!